Tom Petty here in a little bit. But first, one of the heartbreakers, Pat Blassie from Altair Travel and Cruises. Good morning, Pat Blassie.
Me or Tom Petty?
You're you little heartbreaker, you.
Yeah. Gosh, sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been. How's the travel world treating you?
Well, honestly, travel world, follows the real world, and I mean, the travel world is great. I don't want to knock the travel world because we're doing great.
Right.
But I tell you, our crazy world,
Yes.
is crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
And I think we just all have to run away and escape and go travel.
Well,
That's all I can say.
I've been riveted by this Ken Burns Vietnam documentary that's on PBS. I would recommend everybody going to see it. But
Isn't it fabulous?
it is.
Yeah.
It is spectacular. But was it you or was it Sherry who went to Vietnam? Didn't Sherry?
No, actually, no. Melissa
Melissa
and
went to
Maeve,
Vietnam. Okay.
and Maeve, who you were just with in the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
went to Vietnam. And actually, I'm going in the spring. I'm going in March. I'm going on a river cruise on the Mekong, and then going up to Cambodia. And now, I mean, this was all planned actually months ago, but now after seeing this whole thing, I mean, I can't wait to experience it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there is a river cruise in the Mekong Delta. That's unbelievable.
Well, it's a very small, very, very small, and the boats are actually made for that river because of the shallowness. But it's a great way to actually, because Maeve and Melissa, the way they saw it, no, they actually did the river cruise too, and then you add a land portion to it. Another woman in the office, Yvonne, she did total land, and she said that was pretty rugged, because
Right.
some of the roads and everything aren't so great.
Right.
Time of year is important, unless you just don't care about heat, but time of year is important when you go there. So, if anyone's thinking of it, it's been recommended, from early December to March, late March maybe is the latest. It's considered best time. But they loved it. They loved it.
I don't know if I ever would have wanted to go or want to go, but after watching the documentary and not giving anything away at the end, they document veterans who went back to Vietnam when they were older.
I know, it was wonderful, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
To see them.
Yeah, and these veterans from both sides meet up, and the Vietnam and the Viet Cong meet with the Americans, and they sort of have this band of brothers type of mentality. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, through the whole thing, I think the documentary showed both sides.
Yeah.
It interviewed soldiers from both sides, and the bottom line is just that war is horrific, and it was horrible. But honestly, I really never had a desire to go until some of my staff went and came back and raved about it and said it was just unbelievable, and Vietnam and Cambodia, and so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not knowledgeable very well
Right.
that part of the world,
and
so it's going to be a good learning experience.
What's interesting is it's funny you mentioned you're not very knowledgeable about the world. I'm not either, but you and I are not sitting in the Oval Office in 1967, and clearly they didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of the area either.
Oh, my God. Isn't it the saddest? 4 of our presidents.
It is.
I mean,
You know what I did after I finished watching it? I went back and watched the first one again.
Mm-hmm.
To see how they miscalculated it all, how they just had no concept that these Vietnamese people, all they wanted was their independence. That's all they wanted, all the other governments and all the other countries to get out of our country and leave us alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they didn't even want to be ruled, then
Right.
when their own countrymen did win,
Yeah.
they didn't want their type of government.
Right.
It's just I think it's I think all of our politicians and government leaders of the world should I guess they're going to repeat that.
Yes.
I would assume that they would.
Yeah. They
yeah,
are.
It's pretty powerful.
They're starting tonight, I think, to repeat it.
I
Yeah.
wanna see it from
But
the
that's the
beginning.
great thing about travel, Pat Blassie, is everywhere we've gone, even when I'm like, I don't really know about this place, but I guess we'll go. You come back and you think, oh my goodness, I had no idea Copenhagen was so magnificent. I never knew much about Copenhagen, but to see it, to feel it, to touch it, that's the beauty of travel.
Well, it helps you to understand our world.
Yeah.
Because and the people, we're all pretty basic and all pretty much want the same thing. And history, I sure wish I had paid more attention to history when I was in school. But travel has educated me.
Yeah.
I mean, travel brings that all back. I mean, if you're traveling and wanting to really experience where you're going, history plays. I mean, it's a major role in what's created you.
No, it's absolutely right. All right, Pat Blassie, Altair Travel and Cruises. Our trip to Venice.
Oh, it's doing great.
Good.
It's
All right,
wonderful.
just
I mean, I can't wait for that. And that's going to be another historical. When you go to Croatia and all. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I saw Heidi Glaus the other day from Channel 5. She was bad-mouthing you.
He is lying.
Heidi would not bad.
Pat, she would never do that.
I was trying to defend Your Honor. She was actually trying to disparage
Well, I
you.
would expect you to defend my honor.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Definitely.
I called you a heartbreaker. So there you go. All right. Pat, have a good week. Thanks for checking in.
Oh, and by the way,
Yes.
hey, congratulations on Guy Phillips.
How about that, huh?
Great guy.
Yes.
Great guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good guy.
Nice man.
That
Nice
guy is
man.
a good guy and a very nice man. Yeah, we are thrilled. So thanks for checking in, Pat.
That's wonderful. Take care.